Hey guys, it's Bart Johnson here. Today I have a 1x1 LED panel in, a brand new one from ICANN called the Lyra, and I want to go ahead and look through the features of this light, run it through a couple tests, and see if this is a light that might be right for you guys. So stick around, let's review the ICANN Lyra. So guys, like I said, I'm here today with the brand new ICANN Lyra LED 1x1 panel. When I was at NAB this year, these lights were just being announced and I got to take a first look at them. And I told the guys at ICANN that I was really interested in checking them out because I have been using their previous LED panels for quite a while and have been pretty happy with them. So I wanted to see what was new about this light. Now this light does have some similarities to its predecessor, but it also has a lot of differences. So the first thing that I want to get into is the face of this 1x1. Now it doesn't look like most 1x1 LED panels that you see around, and that is because this is a soft LED light. While most 1x1 panels you look and you see tons of rows of specific LED bulbs, this one actually has a nice panel of diffusion. And when I turn it on, it's a little bright right now. Let's dim it down. When I turn it on, you can see it has a very even, soft light across the entire thing. And the reason is that this, instead of using individual LED bulbs, is actually using chip LEDs behind this panel of diffusion in order to give a nice, soft, even light. Now, when I first saw this, I actually asked them if this was one of those new edge-lit LEDs, and they told me that it wasn't, that it's using this chip technology. Now, the benefit of that is that edge-lit LEDs, while they're nice and soft, they don't have a whole lot of throw. This one, as you can see, since it actually still has plenty of LEDs all throughout, it gets really bright and can really actually throw some light a pretty good distance. So that is a definite benefit of something like this. When you have a whole bunch of rows of individual LEDs, you get a lot of micro shadows because you have hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 specific little points of light. This is one big, nice, soft source, which means this is going to be a soft light. It's going to be able to wrap around subjects, and it's a great light for something like interviews. So I went ahead and sat down and lit myself with the ICANN Lyra, as well as a traditional hard light LED, if you will. And you can see here in the side-by-side comparison how the Lyra is really able to throw that soft light and sort of wrap around my face, while the traditional bare LED panel is really giving me some harsher shadows and harder lines. That means that, you don't have to worry about bringing along softboxes. If you need an interview kit that's ready to go, you got to move quick. This light may be something that's right for you. Now, let's get into the construction of this light and sort of how it's put together. Now, the light itself is, like I said, kind of large, a 1x1 panel, and it is made out of plastic for the majority. So it is a tough plastic, but it is plastic. The good thing about that is it's going to keep the weight down. It's still kind of a hefty light, but not compared to some other panels that I've dealt with before. Now, the light has some honeycomb structure here on the back that's going to allow it to dissipate that small amount of heat. LEDs are notorious for putting out almost no heat, but there is some. But this thing is always cool to the touch, and it's not going to heat up the room that you're in. Again, great for interviews in small spaces. Now, it is able to be powered via AC power through this XLR input right here, and it does come with a adapter block there that you plug into the wall, plug in via XLR, so you can power it that way. But it also has the option to power via either V-mount or Anton Bauer Gold Mount style batteries. So you can get whichever plate for the battery system you have, and you can pop those batteries on here and power it in the field. So you don't have to look for an outlet all the time. Now, I took one of my fully charged 98 watt-hour V-mount batteries and mounted it on here to see how long this light would last. And luckily I have the batteries that tell me how long they're going to last. And it was telling me that at 100% power on this light, I was going to get about an hour and 26 minutes. Now that's at full power. So reducing the power is just going to make it last exponentially longer. So with those 98 watt-hour batteries, you're going to get a good amount of runtime out of these right here. Now this particular unit that I have here for testing is their bi-color unit. It is available in a daylight only as well, but I tend to like bi-color lights so I can dial in my color temperature. So let me go ahead and kick this guy on here for us. So there we go. Now we have this awesome little indicator panel on the back here, which is again similar to the previous iCan lights that I've worked with. And it shows us the power, so it shows us the percentage here. We have a battery meter down at the bottom, and we also have this display showing us what our current color temperature is. Again, since this is the bicolor, this one has that color temperature spectrum on it. Now, one thing that's changed, and is something like no other light that I've seen before, is the way that they have it set up to control this. And they have this sort of jog wheel here. So with the jog wheel, if I start rotating it, I'm going to start increasing the intensity and power of the light. Now, if I want to switch and I want to start dialing in my color temperature, I can go ahead and click this button, and my color temperature bar starts flashing, and I can start dialing in my color temperature. It has a range from 3200 all the way up to 5600. Now, I do like that it shows me this, but one thing that I do wish is that it would show me the exact color temperature value that I'm at. It just sort of shows me that I'm somewhere in between 32 and 5600. I would have liked to have a specific digital readout letting me know if I'm at 4100 or 3800 or something like that, so I can more accurately balance. And they did have that on their previous lights, so I'm not quite sure why they didn't incorporate it in this. But regardless, you are able to get some fine control over the color temperature of this light as well. So that's still a nice thing to have. Now, obviously, one of the things we're always looking for when we're shopping for LED lights is not just their output, but we also want to make sure that it's a high quality of light coming out of them. So I got a hold of this little color meter from Sekonic here, which allows me to accurately and in very great detail test this light and see what kind of color accuracy and brightness we're getting out of it. So I went ahead and tested this light several times. I tested it in both daylight balance and tungsten balance, and I tested it at 1 foot, 3 feet, 5 feet, and 10 feet to see what our CRI was and to see how much the light falls off as we back away. So here are the results from those tests here. We're getting a very high CRI on these lights, both while they're set to tungsten and while set to daylight. We're getting a CRI of just over 96, and here's the detailed breakdown of that. We can see that they are very color accurate, which means they're going to make your colors on screen look the way they look in real life. When we go ahead and look at our breakdown here for white balance correction, we can see that there is it recommends a slight green to bring this to be a little bit more accurate of a light, which means that these lights do have a very, very minimal magenta cast to them. It's not really noticeable to the eye, but the meter tells me that they are just a little bit magenta. So it's not a huge issue, but that's something to be aware of. Now, as we look at the results from 1 foot, 3 feet, 5 feet, and 10 feet side by side, if we look at the lux, we can see that the light output does drop off pretty drastically as you get farther and farther away. Now, that's to be expected because this is a soft light. A hard light would throw a lot further. This is designed to be a soft light. So you're usually going to be working in that range, I would say, of around 5 feet. And that's usually where I would position my lights if I was doing an interview setup or something like that. Even right now, I'm in a room that's so small, I had to back into the corner to just get 10 feet away. So you're still getting a great amount of output out of these, a lot more than you would ever get from one of those edge-lit LED systems, but the light is still soft and it falls off really nicely. So you're getting a great amount of output out of these lights. Now, another new feature of these lights in comparison to other LED panels that I've worked with before, and even the previous iCan models, is the yoke. The yoke on these is full metal. It's very nice. All of the knobs and everything are full metal, very robust. But the thing I want to show you about the yoke here is that they have changed the design and made it a 30-degree angle here. So what this means is that you're able to mount this light in a vertical orientation like this, boom it up very high, and then you're still able to tilt the light down and manipulate your barn doors without hitting your yoke. In other lights, usually the yoke is straight up and down, which means as you begin to tilt the light, you're restricted here because you're gonna end up hitting. So this, I believe they were calling it their door bangless design, but it is something very, very simple, but a nice addition to have in these lights. Now the light also comes with these barn doors pre-installed, and I know barn doors on LED panels are a source of controversy for a lot of people. You know, are they really necessary? Do they do anything on a panel because it's just throwing light everywhere? You know, it's not like barn doors on a Fresnel where you can get hard cuts. Really what they are is they're more for controlling the light and controlling spill. So you can block off if you don't want the light spilling off to this side or out the bottom. So they're not really for shaping the light, more of just controlling it. Another thing that a lot of people have issues with on some LED panels is these the silver reflectors on the inside of barn doors. Some of them come with permanent silver reflectors, and I know a lot of people don't like that. They think it just bounces the light around too much. They'll end up spray painting them black. Well, you have the benefit with these that they're little clips and the silver comes right out. So if black is what you're looking for, there it is, and you just go ahead and stash these somewhere, and if you don't want to use them, you don't have to use them. Another nice thing about this light, if you did want to modify the light with gels, is that these top and bottom flags actually have little clips here, so you can easily go ahead and clip some gels in there and go ahead and use those on the front of your light. This is the bicolor version, so I probably wouldn't use these for color correction gels necessarily, but maybe if you wanted some sort of stylized lighting or you wanted to throw it more in one direction or the other, then you could use some gels on there for that. So those clips are there for you, they're built in, and you can easily clip on some diffusion or color stylized gels. Okay guys, so there's a basic overview of the brand new iCan Lyra LED light. It is a great 1x1 light if you are looking for something that has a decent power output but also can put out that soft light that's perfect for interviews, very flattering light. This is the bicolor model, but they also do have a daylight model if that's something that you're looking for. And you know, it's got a lot of great features. The fact that you can battery operate it means you can take it almost anywhere, even if AC power isn't available. You still do have that option for AC power via the XLR. And of course they have the jog wheel, the new jog wheel on the back, which makes it very easy to adjust your brightness and color temperature. And the quality of the light that comes out of this is pretty darn good. Again, 96 plus CRI coming out of this particular light. So they are on sale now at iCan. You can go ahead and get a hold of them. They come in all sorts of kits. They actually, I believe, even have a half-size model of this, so you could maybe get one of these as a key and maybe two halves to do a fill and a background light. So iCan will be able to hook you up with whatever you need to build a kit with these lights if these are something that you're interested in. So guys, I hope that helped you out. I hope it gave you a good look at the brand new Lyra light here, and I will hopefully see you guys for more reviews in the future. Go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right guys, take care.